Anthony Hartwig here with a Hoban Girls Basketball Coaches Corner with Pamela Davis, our first ever Hoban Coaches Corner. We are so happy that they are in the part of the YSN family. That's what I want to say. First of all, Coach, welcome to the family. We're glad to have you here on the YSN family of schools.
Thanks, Anthony. I'm really glad to be a part of the YSN family as well. As I had mentioned backstage, we had talked about it, a couple years ago, hoping that that would come to fruition, and it certainly has now.
All right, so we've already been exposed to a couple of games that you guys have played since you've joined the family. But first, what I want to do with all of our coaches that we do preseason, but we're going to do it with you now since it's our first episode. I want to give you a chance to introduce us to your roster and go down, your players and let us know who they are and what they bring to the program and just give you a chance to shine a light on your roster and let us meet the team a little bit.
Sure, would love to. We're currently 10-7. This is my fourth year here at Archbishop Hoban. We have three seniors that start. My point guard, Kennedy Arison, who has committed to Westminster College in Pennsylvania. Senior guard, Emma Rasmussen, who has committed to play at Marietta. And our 5'10 forward, Riley Bennett, who is uncommitted at this point. The other two starters on our team are junior Mackenzie Edinburgh and freshman Mackenzie Grant. I have four very key, vital people that come off the bench to help support. That first person is sophomore Finley Kennedy, junior Maya Pooler, freshman Niera Stevens, and freshman Zoe Hodge.
All those players, and like you said, you have some that are committed, some that aren't committed. And I'm sure a lot of them have aspirations to go play at the next level. That's something that is, you recognize about Hoban really quick, is they are really good at getting athletes to the next level. What do you think it is about the athletic program, about your program specifically, that just prepare these players to go and be the best they can be at the next level?
I think it's twofold. I think one, obviously, is the academic piece. Hoban really prepares the student athletes with a rigorous curriculum. And then I think between just the intensity of practices and instruction and the weight and conditioning program, I think gets them the physical part of being able to play at the next level.
A lot of the players have gone since the last time that we talked back when you guys came down the South Range a couple of years ago. That team was, phenomenal. Had their own players that have left the program and have gone on to do great things. But Emma Rasmussen is one player that we remember very well from those games. How much has she grown in the last couple of years as a player? And what do you see from her now, her senior year, leading this team?
I believe that Emma was player of the game
Mhm.
during that game or during the tournament at South Range. She's since gone from more of a role player to a leading lady. She has earned two other game MVPs, one at the Classic in the Country versus Lakota West, and then also an MVP game versus St. Joseph Academy at the Jingle Bell Jam in Sandusky. So she's averaging 12 points a game for us, and she is our now leading scorer.
Another hallmark of Hoban is you guys get to play an independent schedule. You get to go out and play all these great teams and really beef up this schedule that you guys put together. What does that bring to this team? The ability to go to Classic in the Country, the ability to go to the Battle of the Hawks Nest over the weekend and play teams from not just the state of Ohio, but Kentucky, and I'm sure you've played teams from around the whole country at times. So, what's that mean to this program and these players to be able to really expose themselves to the best competition they can?
We really do have one of the most rigorous schedules in D1. I was just preparing for our tournament draw that's going to be held on Sunday. And even though we've lost 7 games, the total opponent win-loss records is 90-22 for an 80% winning percentage. So we are battle tested. We're gaining confidence as we head into the latter part of the season, and we are definitely gearing up for the postseason.
Let's talk about your last time out. You were able to beat Notre Dame Academy from Kentucky over the weekend by 9. What do you see from your team? What were some of the keys to that victory?
Definitely our transition and defensive pressure. They were a very tall team. They started two 5'11" guards, one that's going to Northern Kentucky, and a 6'4" center. So we had to use our speed, agility, and quickness to attack the basket and to get them to run. And it certainly was effective for us.
And now you have a game on slate on Thursday, I believe, against Ellet at home. Um, what's that going to look like? What does Ellet bring to the table? Help us preview this game coming up for you guys.
Well, this is going to be our senior night. So I know that my three seniors definitely will want to go out on top. Ellet is in first place of the Akron City Series by a couple game margin. So I anticipate that they'll be the same as they go against Firestone tonight. They bring a very dynamic guard and sophomore Caitlin Holmes and a nice supporting cast that's going to press, get up and down in transition like we like to do. And it's kind of like a backyard initial stages of a rivalry because they're in East Akron as so is Hoban.
When you guys do get to play at home, I know you travel so much. You're in Columbus, you're the class in the country. What's it like to come back home and be able to protect your home court and to be able to play in front of, I'm assuming, more fans than you do when you travel the way that you guys do?
We certainly travel. I consider us kind of like a road warrior. We've gone to Toledo. We've gone to Columbus 3 times. Gone down to Berlin. We've gone up to Cleveland several times. So it's kind of nice to come home where our kids can get in a nice routine. And with it being senior night, I'm hoping that our student body comes out and supports the trio and have some local fans as well due to the proximity in both schools.
Obviously, traveling can be tiresome, but I'm sure it also gives you great opportunity to build team bonding. Do you see a lot of team chemistry come from the trips that you guys take?
We have, and plus we've done some other service projects such as making blankets. Going to actually at this preseason, we went to a haunted house. We've gone to some local university games to try to build that team chemistry. So I think it's fairly safe to say that the kids are growing close together.
You have roots here in the Youngstown area. Correct me if I'm an Austintown Fitch graduate. And what's it mean to you? What kind of things have you taken from the Youngstown area up into Archbishop Hoban, and what kind of things do you see in the Akron area that remind you of home a little bit?
Well, I am a proud alumni of the Fitch Falcons. And, we've always had a history of great sports in the Mahoney Valley. And I want to bring to Akron a sense of pride and community and be able to compete. That's the biggest word is compete every single game, whether we think we're going to win or it's an evenly matched opponent. And I'm hoping that, over the course of all of my years in coaching that I have brought that to my girls.
Like you said, you have a really long career in coaching. Your fourth year at Hoban, all the stepping stones you've taken, and all the spots you've been at. What do you think you've grown the most in as a coach over the years and over your career? 600 wins, it's a lot to rack up. So, where do you think you've grown the most as a coach?
I really think that I've involved in the X's and O's and the strategy of the game. When I started, filming was basically non-existent in the girls' side. There was not the showcases and tournaments and the AAU circuit that there is available now. So if you don't evolve as a coach, particularly on the court, then you'll kind of be passed by. So I think that I've evolved with the times, and you have to really coach to, the level and talent of your teams. And fortunately, I've had a lot of great players over the years. And so I just want them to be able to compete and to be able to use these strategies, not only athletically, but in life in general.
And you can talk about this a little bit more than maybe the younger coaches, but I mean, you've seen the growth of women's basketball over the last, decade or so. What does that mean to you, not just as a coach, but as a fan? I'm sure you watched the college game and as a fan of women's basketball, what does that mean to you to see how much it's grown over the last decade?
I think that all of the hours, the blood, sweat, and tears that females have put into the sport, they're finally getting the recognition that they deserve. We're getting primetime spots, particularly in the college networks. I'm hoping at some point in time that girls high school also will get some primetime coverage. I know there are several conferences that have done boy-girl double headers. I've been a part of those at previous schools. And they just really deserve all the recognition and just so many opportunities. I just want my players as well as all athletes to take advantage.
You talked earlier about the service projects you do, and the thing we see out of Hoban and some of the other schools that we cover is building character is of the utmost importance at Hoban. They want to build great people that leave the school. What do you think those service projects and building your community up do for your team, not just with what they can do with themselves and their own relationships with each other, but also their relationships with the community?
I think first and foremost, it's giving back. A lot of student athletes are given a lot of these opportunities, and to provide different opportunities for those who are less fortunate. I think shows gratitude for the things that we do have. The service project that we did, we're making blankets for the ill children at the Ronald McDonald House. And I think that just athletes in general were one of the healthiest individuals out there. So again, just showing gratitude and appreciation for everything that we have.
We are coming up on tournament time very, very soon. I think the the bracket should be out next Monday for districts. What do you think when you're thinking tournament time and you're trying to balance staying focused for the rest of the regular season, but you're also voting on the brackets and you're voting on seeding? What's that like from a coach's perspective to try to keep it one game at a time while you have to handle all that stuff as well?
Well, we just had to submit our records for the tournament draw. When I vote, I do a lot of homework. I look at strength of schedule. I look at game-to-game matchups, common opponents. So I put forth a lot of effort into what I feel is the correct seeds. I try to keep a very low profile, low key for my kids. Yes, we have to do a balancing act, but I want to make sure that we go out. With in the regular season on a high note. So when we approach pro season or postseason, I'm sorry, we're on a high note, and we're also feeling the confidence of building and leading up to that.
With no conference, what are some of the regular season goals you use to kind of keep them focused on the regular season and not have them look ahead to tournaments all the time?
Unfortunately, we don't have a
Mhm.
conference, but we just take one game at a time. We take a look at what conference that person or that team is in, and say, if we had to play them head to head, would we win that conference? And we just take every opponent as is, face value, and we just feel that these are mini quizzes, mini tests to get to that, final exam, if you will, those last 8.
All right, Coach, before we let you go, I want to give you the chance to also introduce us to your staff and the wonderful people you have behind you. We know that coaches get the interviews, the limelight, but we know that you couldn't do it by yourself. So who's with you on this ride, and who brings their help to the program?
Well, I've been blessed with coaching with my husband for the past 30 years, and he's my right-hand man, both in life and on the court, and that's Willie Davis. He's in charge of our defensive schemes and some of our conditioning programs. And then Dave Nash, who has been with me for about 7, 8 years now. He primarily works with our forwards and our post play. And then first year person on the JV ranks is Danielle Howe. She's coached CYO, and she's also an employee of Hoban.
Coach, great to catch up with you. Once again, welcome to the YSN family. Thank you for the time to come on and have your first episode of Coach's Corner. We look forward to more and more, and we wish you the best of luck the rest of the regular season, and hope to see you make a deep tournament run as well.
Thank you, Anthony. I really appreciate it.